Welcome to another episode of Aggressively Growing by Using My Bible Verses. All right, we call this series Aggressively Growing because having faith is not a passive thing. This is not the series where we talk slow and tell you that it's somebody else's fault. Not what we do. In each of these episodes, we're going to give you an interpretation of a specific passage from the Bible, and then we're going to give you action steps on how you can carry out that principle and live out that faith in your life. The reality is, there's a lot of extremely talented people in this world, right? Brilliant people, but a lot of them lack direction, or a lot of them have chosen a bad direction that is unfulfilling. So what we do is try to provide direction that's rooted in simple principles from a book that's still a bestseller and has been out for 6,000 years. All right, I've been alive 41 years of life, and no other human had come up to me and told me, the key to most people's dissatisfaction is really just rooted in a lack of accountability and a lack of gratitude. Nobody had ever said that to me. Within the first 20 minutes of reading the Bible, it reveals that God cursed the earth initially for the human because of their lack of gratitude and their lack of accountability. That was an important message for me, you know. And that jewel from this book that's 6,000 years old is just as accurate today as I assume it was back then, right? So for me, it just makes more sense, to try to get an understanding of this 6,000-year-old book, right? Because if it can anticipate and forecast for me what's happening in my life now, then I need to get a better understanding to see what else it could maybe forecast, right? And keep in mind, all this stuff is free. The only thing it requires from you is your time and your effort. That's it. The time is going to pass either way. So, what we're going to talk about today is the story of Adam and Eve, first story in the Bible from the book of Genesis. The quick summary of the story is essentially Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, and the Garden of Eden is a place of abundance. It's a garden, so it's enclosed, right? There's a boundary around it. In the middle of this garden sat the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now, God told them specifically, you can eat whatever you want in this garden except from that one tree. In the garden, there was fruit, meat, whatever they wanted. There was an abundance of things in that garden that they could have enjoyed. Um, but the serpent had convinced Eve to focus on the one thing that she lacked. He convinced her to overlook everything she was given and to focus on the one thing that she lacked. And so she went and got a bite of the apple from the tree. She gave that apple to Adam. Adam said, okay, I'll take a bite, right? He took a bite. And then when God came down to ask them what happened, he asked Adam, did you eat the apple? And Adam essentially said, she gave it to me. He didn't confirm, he didn't take responsibility for his actions, right? And because of that, God cursed the earth for hundreds of years after that. So the first lesson is with Eve, a lack of gratitude. The lesson is, if you do not appreciate all that you've been given, life will be difficult for you. He cursed the earth. Remember, that's the message. If you do not appreciate, if you do not display gratitude, sincere, pure gratitude, life will be difficult for you. Second lesson was Adam. If you do not take responsibility for your actions, life will be difficult for you. First two stories, in the Bible. There's a lot just in the book of Genesis alone as far as principles on life. Accountability, gratitude, those are two big ones. If you're honest with yourself, you can look around and see that that is indeed the key to all of most people's problems. From what I've seen, it's the key to all of people's problems. just to be honest with you. But you don't want to say all absolutes and right. Who knows? But that's what it is, though, the accountability, the gratitude. Regardless of circumstance, be grateful that you have breath in your lungs. That's the beginning of everything for you, right? We often overlook the fact that life is a gift. You did nothing to earn life. I did nothing to earn life. It's a gift. And it's a very individual experience. People are telling you this is what life should be. Okay, you have to make that decision for yourself. Don't hide behind them. Right? That's the scary part of all this. It's going to require your courage to be who you were called to be. All right, so you're going to have faith, active, aggressive faith in order to accomplish these things. All right, accountability and gratitude. So the action steps. At the end of the week, we want you to ask yourself, am I setting the example of taking accountability for your actions? At the end of this week, and we want you to carry that out for the next 12 months. End of every week, you just measuring your progress to make sure, right? Or am I not being accountable? Was I not accountable? Is this something I need to work on for next week? You want to measure that progress and be clear with yourself where you are on that accountability spectrum, so to speak. Number two, that action step. At the end of the week, write 5 things I am grateful for. Do this at the end of every week for 1 month. At the end of 1 month, we want you to bring that up to 10 things I am grateful for, at least once a week for the first 6 months. At the end of that 6 months, for the last 6 months, we want you to do it once every 2 weeks. Right? We want to get you in the habit of being grateful. You should be waking up every morning, thank you for another day. Right? I didn't wake myself up. I don't even know how all this works, right? So whoever did it, thank you for another opportunity. I'm going to go out here and make the most of it. That's all this really is. Quiet down the outside voices. Accept that these outside voices are just as lost, if not more lost, than I am, right? They're taking other people. Yeah, it's really about the blue. You don't have enough blue. That's what matters. Okay. Okay. Each episode, we're going to give you an action plan that you can use for the next 12 months. And these are small things to do, right? These things will only take you 10, maybe 15 minutes at the most. Small things, but very important things. You working on developing you is a major thing. You working on improving you is a major thing. The Bible doesn't want us thinking about other people. The Bible wants us thinking more about ourselves, developing ourselves to help other people. No other man has to show you how to do that. Right? You can figure that out for yourself. You can arrive at that destination yourself, but it's going to require you to have courage and belief in yourself. Right? This is about giving you a roadmap so you can develop you, so you can explore you, and you can truly realize the mound of untapped potential that you truly are. It's not about us. It will never be about us. Could never be about us. It'll always be about you. The hope that these words will compel you to take action. Measure your accountability. Measure your gratitude. Work on those muscles. Each of us has the ingredients. All you're missing is the recipe. And that's what the Bible gives us. And as always, continue to explore the most fascinating thing about your life. You.